Tell me where we go. Got it. Just go. Here we go. Going live and welcome back to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld. I'm here with my very good friend, Ra Arcturus, and he's created a beautiful invention, would you call it? It's called the Cellwell. It's behind us. I'll be showing some of that, but right now we want to get a little background about you, Ra, because I've known you for a long time. And what is your connection to Arcturus?
My connection to Arcturus is that I'm an Arcturian soul. I have other aspects such as Lyran, Syrian, Rigelian, Antarian, Essassani, but predominantly like my you could say the last bus station my soul recalls as in the major gate coming through this planet is Arcturus. So I know I'm Arcturian. So
am I Arcturian? How do I get to be Arcturian?
Well, I would say you might be because of your prominent nose bone. We all have that direct line.
But what does it mean? So you brought here to this planet because you remember.
Yeah, I remember.
It's not just something you're thinking about, and possibly you remember where you came from.
I have memories. See, as a child, I thought, okay, active mind, it's fantasy, but I have these reoccurring dreams of other star systems where I knew I wasn't on Earth. I could see other planets. I don't recall seeing Saturn, but I saw different suns in a different color, different skies, different beings. That actually led me to finding science fiction as a young child. Like, this is kind of like where I'm going. Like, I'm just imagine you see something that fits something that you have seen in the dream. But you have not seen the show before. So I'm 10 years old, Captain Kirk, Spock on the scene, and I'm like, I'm home.
I felt that way. I love watching Star Trek myself.
Because Star Trek is based on the Council of Nine.
I didn't know that. And
it's always that they consulted a psychic, actually, before William Shatner was featured. They said, this is not the right crew to channel that. The actors were not only acting, you have to see these actors are also channels for this future vision. And if you're not good at that, then you wouldn't fit the screen.
Well, it was the actors that made the show popular.
Absolutely. And that's part of that. People have to know Gene Roddenberry also had consultations with a psychic named Phyllis V. Schlemmer, the only planet of choice.
Who knew Schlemmer was the Hurtaks, J.J. Hurtak. I think he knew.
Yeah.
Yes, and actually sat on a little council, I think, with Gene Roddenberry, helping to input ideas.
Absolutely, and it was based on the Council of Nine. It's always the Council of Nine.
The Council of Nine is an Arcturian council?
It's an Arcturian council, but I think it's also a mixture of different races. I don't know all the races, but Arcturians are among them.
Well, let's talk about, I'm going to pick this and we're going to go over to what you created. Ra. You tell people what you create, what we're going to be seeing.
So what I've created is, and people wanted to, I have to bring this in there, attack, this is a tanning bed. This is a refurbished tanning bed, but with ceramic, interdimensional, tachyon, ionic, and scalar wave, scalar fractal shooting devices.
Okay, let's go over there and see what we got here. This is the
we can show to them. So here, the shooting system, so the electronics inside.
This is what you're calling the Cellwell, huh?
This is the Cellwell.
Okay, so it's a refurbished tanning bed.
It's a refurbished tanning bed because I require the whole. I need a bed. I need a cocoon people into the energy. As you can tell, here is a shooter.
What does a shooter mean?
A shooter means there are photons coming out of this here. There are tachyon energy, scalar wave, amplitudinal, you can say longitudinal, interwoven electromagnetic pulse waves. And
how did you do that? How did you put that in there?
Well, you're Arcturian. You recall what you did on other planets. Like, I'm like the Spock in physics. The Spock.
So you coded tachyon energy into that, and and the person lays down here, of course,
gets the energy. This here is a signature. I mean, now the secret is out the box. I put this in there for those who have ship links.
What do you mean shiplings?
Shiplings means people that have connections to scout ships and scout craft or feel have experience waking up on ships is the link for the carbon-based soul carrier, your body, to make that connection easier.
So you're saying people who've done this bed have woken up on a ship?
Absolutely.
I did the bed. I did not wake on a ship, but I did feel very relaxed.
Yeah, I told him, so the first level is before you go into the visions and ship and all that stuff is you need to go into a relaxed state. And that means producing serotonin, dopamine, and going to where your cellular relaxation begins. And then we can dive deeper into, you want to sit back down?
No, I just want to ask you a little bit about this. So this is what is this insignia here?
This insignia basically is a nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen linked to a central wave of dark matter to connect to carbon through time and space. And I channeled that.
And what is it made out of, though? That's not actually...
Well, this is actually reflective acrylic and Swarovski crystals.
So you're saying that signature will call in these other...
Yeah, well, it creates basically a sentient connection between your consciousness and whatever ship you are assigned to.
Okay, I haven't been assigned to a ship, I guess.
Bring it in. It's,
okay.
Yeah, so basically, want to sit back down?
No, I just want to ask you, because before I got into this, your assistant, your lovely assistant, said that this is a sentient machine, right?
Yeah.
A sentient.
Yeah.
What you want? Do you want to explain?
Yeah, let's come to the thing.
And let's look at the top here.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Come.
I'm going to introduce you to Veronique, who actually was
That's
part of...
the Azores.
Oh, here. Okay. What did you say about the bed before I got in?
This? How do you prep?
So the way I prep people for healing session is that I make sure that they are aware that the Cellwell is a sentient device, meaning that it has its own intelligence and its own consciousness. So what I want people to do is that I want them to connect with the Cellwell, and then I want them to connect with a higher self and the team and set the intention for them to get the healing that they want and what they want to manifest in their life. But if they come for a healing session, really a healing, what they want to create in terms of healing. And so it's very important because of the 5D technology that people connect with the consciousness of the Cellwell.
What happened to you in there? Why are you so...
The first time
that
I saw a picture of an ET face, and then I received a lot of energetics. I had pain in my left elbow, and so I was having tremendous pain coming out of it, energy throughout my whole body.
Yeah.
Yes, I felt energy throughout my whole body laying in here. However, at the LA Expo, as I was prepping people, my intuition told me to ask them to connect with the higher self or the team of people that they're working so that they can get the best experience of the Cellwell because of the intelligence of it being a 5D technology. It's sentient for me. So my intuition led me to prep people in that way. And actually it was confirmed by a reader to do that. So
great.
I was on a good track.
Great.
And most of the people that are connecting with the Cellwell and their higher self do have a very good session or have the answer to what the root cause of their issue is once that they're tuning into it. However, if they're passively laying in there, they will receive the healing. However, it's going to be slower, at a slower pace. So the connection is to boost your healing process.
Great. No, I feel good. Okay, let's go back.
Yeah, so also share what did you experience laying in there the first minutes where you rest? When did you feel like what coming?
Thanks for that question. Let me see. I just did this. I just climbed in like before this interview. It took a few minutes for my mind to stop. Then I dropped into a really nice, peaceful rest where my whole body felt very relaxed. I didn't get on a ship. Do I get my money back if I don't get on a ship? No, I didn't.
That's not a given. Those who are, I'd say, more advanced,
Okay.
it might happen, no guarantees.
Mhm.
I go by what people tell me. I'm not saying this is a ship connection guarantee.
Okay.
This has to do with where your consciousness is. You know, people can go out in the field and one kid sees a ship coming down at 30 yards distance, and the parents like, come inside. What are you doing?
Mhm.
It's windy. Nothing but clouds up there, honey.
Mhm.
And they don't see anything, you know.
Right.
And the movie The Last Mimsy, if you know that
I
movie.
do not know.
Well, there's a kid that plays with a crystal, and then he has his third eye opened, and he sees it's a supercomputer that calculates time dimensions. So mommy can't see that. So she's in the door and she's like, honey, it's just a rock.
All right.
Put
right,
it
right.
down. What are you doing with it? And she doesn't understand. He's already in the program coding and he's getting it. And mom closes the door. So if somebody is in a different reality of perception, you're not seeing what the others are seeing. So
Right. So tell me, this is in the style of med beds. Talk about med beds and where came up with this idea.
Well, I think the word medbed also it's been tainted. That's why I would kind of like move away from that. I call this a Cellwell. This is about the wellness for your cellular integration of everything that makes you as a cellular being.
Right, right, right.
And in the Star Trek movie, they were the first ones to where I really paid attention to a med bay. And in the med bay, they had these med beds.
Okay.
And I think that's where the vision of the future came from. And then everybody jumped on this med bed thing as in what we want here, you know. And I, as a child, was fascinated how they get people better or get their readings better. And maybe I was prepped, I think, as we all are, in a pre-programmed manner that I will come to find out how this works. So what I did was I remember a storyline about Atlantean healing beds. And these were crystalline. And they would lay in these big crystal pockets and they would, you know, heal miraculously very fast. So Earth, mind you, back then was in a different frequency. Of course, healing was, I'm thinking, accelerated and that's why I studied how do you build this. So I looked at how is the light being transmitted. I also make pendants built on the same scalar energy. And what does the pyramid do? So I'm coming at the pyramids from a different angle. Sometimes we laugh, we call these linear investigated pyramidiates because they're so deep in and so in the 3D that they don't understand. This is actually hyperdimensional technology.
Well, pyramids are hyperdimensional.
Yeah, they're not from this planet. If you go to Egypt and you have an inkling of any sensory perception, you know this is not from this planet.
Well, the word pyramid means fire in the middle, and no one even knows what that means. I mean, normal, rational people don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen tourists there that are like, oh yeah, Akhenaten, haha, and then joking, and these guys that gave the tour, they were actually very knowledgeable, and they explained even stuff of there were a legend is for what is called the magic wall, where a being, extraterrestrial, stood in front of the wall, projected his mental image into the wall, and the hieroglyphs were basically burned into the marble of the rock. That's why they're so pristine. Meaning, I mean, I was in the Kings Valley, and I've seen stuff that looked like laser etched, but so precise, it's polished, it's mirrored in 40-ton block heavy sarcophagi that sit in underground where the staircases you can hardly fit through. You know, there's no technology even to bring that there. So I must assume there was highly developed beings involved creating these. The younger it is, the crappier it goes.
Right. The older you go back, the more sophisticated it is in Egypt. So you built this machine like they say about the ships, they're sentient.
Yeah, sentient.
So when you go on board these ships, it's not like you're just flying a machine. The machine is connected to your consciousness. This is what Veronique was saying about this machine.
Yeah.
And how did you build that with that intention?
So I kind of I channel myself from the future. I call it what many of us have the opportunity to do, angelic reverse engineering.
Okay.
And it's trying to figure out who I was and what did I do then. And I think I was that in Atlantis as well, where I was a scientist or a high priest that brought in technological aspects to make the the potential of the avatar, increase that to refine.
So you have a memory of this?
Yes.
Like a memory, because I did past lives. It's not like a memory like you did yesterday, but maybe your memory is clearer about your past lives.
Yeah, it's partially still fragmented. I don't have all the parts, but I know certain sciences, and I know the applications of certain sciences that you won't find in any books. Hence, how does this work? How do I make this work like a pyramid chamber?
Okay, how?
So the pyramid chamber was not to sleep in, it was to meditate or bodily repair.
And astral project.
Yes.
When I was in the king's chamber, I felt as if I could sort of move out of the body.
Yeah, I think if you have the constellations in order, not everybody knows the constellation, and you can have enough money and bakshish to pay the guards, and you spend the night in that constellation, in that sarcophagus.
Yes.
You can project outward.
Yes, I think so. I felt that.
Yeah.
So
not many are ready like Napoleon, but let's go back to how do I make this tick?
Yes, let's talk about that.
Okay, so I looked at holy places as in Pyramid Chamber, Niagara Falls,
power spots. Yeah.
Where same energy, grass grows exponentially. People have miraculous healing, like the well in Lourdes in France.
Yeah, Lourdes. Yeah.
So what do they have in common? And many have not looked at this. So highly magnetic anomalies from the ground, meaning very magnetic.
The Earth itself is sending out something.
Absolutely. Okay. Then photons. Biological life emitting bioluminescence.
You can measure the photons off these power spots.
Yeah.
It's more increased photonic activity.
Yeah,
like Sedona.
Yeah. There's more light being reflected or refracted from the ground, so more photonic action, more light. To measure that, you need a biophotonic emission device that can measure that. So we can measure it. It's not magic. It's an accumulation of life force, and most of all, like the Niagara Falls. Negative ions.
And that's from the water. Well, that's water, like waterfalls create in the air, negative ions.
Yeah, negative ions basically are atoms that take on natural electrons from the ground in a plethora, like a lush environment. And when you have negative ions for the cell, you have a metabolism acceleration. Thus, the cell can go into repair mode.
How did you get negative ions into this machine?
You need a means to call photons from the vacuum and give them a direction. And I found a way with a crystal array and an organic array in a certain place to basically take a quartz crystal and a steel plate. The photons will be attracted to the steel plate.
So you've embedded this into this device?
Yes, absolutely.
So laying in this device, you get a high dose of negative ions?
Absolutely.
Like standing or sitting in front of a waterfall?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. So,
and then wellness can occur. People can get better. I have experienced that when I watch people with asthma or even tumors or whatnot. I'm not making claims that I
please don't make claims.
No claims, but I observed that people in a natural environment, in the jungle and out in the field, when the energy was natural, got naturally better. Okay. So I'm asking myself, if I can mimic that, what are the possibilities? That's all I'm doing.
So you mimic nature in this Cellwell or medbed.
Yeah. So if you put plants in there, they grow exponentially. Like mung bean sprouts will have 3 times the size. Mushrooms will grow 3 times the size. Everything is growing exponentially bigger and healthier and better. And that I have experienced also in my backyard with the medbed, with the grass, everything growing. So I know that's doing something to the environment.
Yeah, so this is not your first invention, though, right?
No, I have many.
What is this thing?
This is a scalar pendant that actually has borosilicate quartz pebbles sitting in these washers that are stainless steel. The white stuff is the nanospherical quartz that I use. That's my storage medium for photons. You can see also how refractive that is, how light intense. You can see, like on the camera, it has like a little aura.
Yeah.
And in the back, I have a brass plate with a toroidal field. And the back of the brass plate, I have a 24 karat gold dip magnet that helps to create a magnetic field linking to the body, as in grounding you're in, and shooting the photons out the back of that pendant. This is called the echelon key. In a month or so, it'll be in my store because this is still in development stages of intensity. But that's I channel myself. I see these things in my mind, like holodynamic, holographic constructs. I see these pebbles, things are levitating. I see this thing. I see it kind of like in front of me. I see it spinning, and I'm like, I wake up, then I go to Home Depot, I check material, and I assemble.
Right.
Like a master builder.
Great. So what's your website here?
Ra-key.com.
Can you put that in the chat there? Ra-key.
R-A-key K-E-Y.com.
So why is Arcturus so talked about lately among people like Starseed? What are we getting more a connection to that civilization?
Well, Edgar Cayce said that it's the highest developed galactic civilization.
Edgar Cayce said that.
Yeah, in his book.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you read the segment where he says that they are the most advanced, they've been where we have been. They did the Ascension protocol like we are doing it, and they went higher dimensional. They're also in a different timeline. So they're looking at us as an holographic projecting from another timeline at our development.
And the barrier between those dimensional realities is getting thinner, so there's more of an interface.
Absolutely. We're getting it. We're beginning to get it. So more and more.
As our vibration increases, it meets these other beings that are close to that vibration. I mean, they come down a little bit to meet us as we're going up.
Yeah. But the more we're surrendering to actually what is, as in source in you, and ultimately to become you, to be on this planet, the more things will appear in the heavens and in the skies. And there's less debate. I mean, you've been in the field for what?
A few years.
And back then it was a war.
It was a war. Well, yeah.
Remember that term? I was laughed at in Germany in the 80s. People were literally saying, "Oh, so you think little green men built your pyramid?" So referring to cartoons,
right,
that was suggesting that ETs are squiddly diddly,
right?
And you know how that goes. That's called TV programming.
So, but you trusted your own consciousness enough to believe in your creativity and invention, and actually have helped people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's the key.
People have gotten away from where they were, and they tell me their well-being is increased and they feel better, they got better. And the testimonials are on my channel, they're in my store. I have sold over, I think, 7,000 items.
Wow.
In 10 years.
Congratulations.
And it's less than 1% return. So I think the numbers don't lie, and people can do their own investigation and their own feelings. And I tell people, like, even if you don't feel anything, nobody is making you, like Dolores Cannon said, we're not here to convince or convert. Either you're in resonance or you're not.
Right. And there are a lot of people now tuning more and more. Actually, I feel pretty good after that little.
Yeah.
So I feel relaxed. I feel calm. I didn't get on a ship though. Next time I want to get on a ship.
Therapies with him and then hopefully get a ship report.
Yeah, come on.
Again, make no guarantees. This came in because I had one lady that I call her Commander Zaya. Very interesting. She comes out of the med bed after the Cellwell. And at the LA Expo, and she had no expectations. And I don't know, how long was she in there? 20 minutes? 8 minutes. And she's like, yo, Rob, dude, I was on a ship. I looked down on myself like I'm in some VR avatar flick. I have a spacesuit on. I was blue. You were in the crew. I was being briefed. I'm Arcturian. I'm actually a commander. And she had realizations.
That must have been a life changer.
She was a little shocked. She was like, what is this thing?
After 8 minutes, like.
Yeah, and she was ready. So, and she's on her journey. Like, she's out there. I will put an interview up with her and her experience. And I didn't suggest that or insinuate anything for people to make up their own stories just to be in. That is your own.
I think it's people's own experience, whatever, I had a pleasant experience. I wasn't transported, but I felt relaxed and calm. So whatever this does.
I had, unfortunately, I don't have this on camera. I had Foster Gamble in there, and he had a kink in his shoulder. and he felt energy going through his body, like a tingling, and then the kink in his shoulder. I think one in the nose. They disappeared over time, and he felt better. I had people that came. At the LA Expo, 20,000 people, totally exhausted. They're like, I need a break, and I put them in there for 10 minutes, and they felt like they have slept for like 3 hours. So I know something is happening.
Something's happening.
Yeah, something is happening. So I mean, when you were knocked out, I was like, okay, I want to see some response.
No,
Whatever is something has to take place.
Peaceful, pleasant.
Yeah,
So, but are you going to keep evolving this device? Like, are you going as you get more?
Once we have the funds to build our own hulls, this is going to be more futuristic. I want it to be like a space pod. I don't like a Pleiadian egg or whatever. Like more high tech, more lightweight. This is steel. This is heavy, very heavy to transport. And as we develop, as we go on, these things will be developed in a higher state. I will develop a ascension chamber. Okay. Where I will build an entire room that's based on that technology, and it will, like a Faraday cage, will completely seal you in.
Right. As you get more downloads, more technology comes to you.
Absolutely.
You modify these devices, and more people will get upgrades. Actually.
Absolutely. And what I want to do is like the end or new beginning would be a piece of property where we have a facility with nothing but cell wells lined up, and people can do a week or two and make their own experience and then report live. This is actually what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling. This is where this is going for me.
Great. Well, again, the website.
Ra-key.com, and my store is currently closed because I had a very, very viral video explosion, and we are restocking. We're on back order, so in a month and a half. Keep checking Etsy. The Etsy store is Arcturian Council. You'll find me, but you also find me through my website, ra-key.com.
Thank you for your contribution,
and thank you.
Say hello to my friends on Arcturus if you get it.
Absolutely. I put in a good word for you. Make some connection with this guy. He misses his family.
Are they my family? Because I'm from a lot of places.
Probably, yeah. You're a traveler, you're an interdimensional
traveler. I probably am.
You have galactic family.
I do. On Arcturus, yes. I have a distinct.
You're also a hybrid, just in case you
I did know that actually.
Okay,
so and all the people watching probably are too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love to your people.
Any questions on the chat there? Any comments?
Nothing.
Anything? Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching New Realities with Ra Arcturus, Alan Steinfeld. Stay tuned for more upcoming live programs. Thank you. Is there some goodbye sign from Arcturus you could say?
I'm one.